So now aggregating techniques. So in this section, we'll focus how to use summarize operator in combination with advanced aggregation functions like min, max, average, and percentile. So hope you are aware of this bin and min, max, what we discussed in the previous series. But now here is a little bit change. We are adding a further improvement on that. So storm event minimum damage is equal to minimum of damage property, that you might be already aware of that. So if you want to use the maximum, then you can use the maximum damage property. So what actually it returns here? So if I run this one and then just type here summarize and then max damage max d equal to, it can be max of damage property, and if I click on run, this is going to just give me one value. Okay, so if I use min here, then this is going to give me the min, which is 0 here. I know. So now we also have this average option. So if we specify here average avg, that is enough. This is going to give me here, so 120,000 is an average damage has happened in our data. So now percentile, calculate the specified percentile for the numeric column. So basically, if you want to use the calculate the 50th median, 90th and 95th percentile from the storm damage, this is what you can use that here. So here we can use percentile and then we can use damage property, comma 50th percentile, comma 90 and 95. If you're not familiar with this percentile thing, so let's run this one. Okay, let me remove this. It has to be yes. So this is a case sensitive, so we need to specify that. So this is not giving me about percentile damage of the median, which is basically 50th median is 0, and then it's giving me 90th is 10,000 and 95th is 49,991. That's the value. So that's about the percentile here. Now if you want to combine these multiple things like in a single thing, we actually covered this in the previous one. You can also specify that here. So if you want to combine this minimum equal to minimum of damage property, and then if you want to specify by another column, you can just use comma and then use any of the other value, which can be maximum of damage property, and execute this. This is going to give us into one single table. Now using with grouping here, we also saw about how we can use by grouping here. So basically we just need to specify that column name. So usually group by having, we used to all it in SQL, right? So similar to that, we have it here summarize and then we have a by any type. So I just want to have minimum and maximum by state or by event type, for example. So what is the minimum and maximum damage happened on the event type? So you can see the thunderstorm is maximum is 35,000 and minimum is 0 for everything. But the lake shore flood is 10,000 the minimum and 20,000 is the maximum. But here if I just want to sort this, you can just use order by max and descending order and then click on run. So here this will give me the value of wildfire is actually the highest one. So this is the maximum is basically huge. So if I divide this by million, so million and click on run, so 500 million is the highest one by any event, which is a wildfire. So even tornado is 250, ice storm is 150, flash flood is 137. That's really big in number to be say. Yeah. So now using percentile for advanced insight here. The percentile function is particularly useful when you want to understand the distribution of values in your data set. For example, the 90th percentile can show you the value below which 90% of the data points fall. Below which 90% of the data points fall, which is crucial when analyzing outliers and extreme events. So I will repeat again, the 90th percentile can show you the value below which 90% of the data points fall. So which is crucial when analyzing outliers and extreme events. So storm event percentile, so P 50 and then percentile 90 and then percentile 95. So let's review this, how this works. So this can be P 50, it can be percentiles. So we need to use percentiles here, percentile, and this can be damage property, comma 50, and then comma P90. So this can be percentiles. Damage property comma 90, and then P95 is equal to percentiles, and then here it has to be damage property comma 95, and this has to be by, if you don't need any if you don't add any pipe, then you can just continue by second line here by event types, right? So if I run this one now, so this is now even the order by is a good thing. I think we can use, no, I think this is good for now. So tornado actually for 400,000, that's the 90th percentile. So below to which all the cases has been occurred. That's really big in number. Okay, example scenario using summary. Imagine you are analyzing a storm event dataset and you want to determine how different type of storm, tornadoes, hurricanes, etc. impacting property damage. You can use summarize with multiple operators to get minimum, maximum and average damage, as well as the percentage for more detailed insights. So this is actually combining these both of them, and it's actually using summarize minimum damage, maximum damage, average damage and percentile of 90th percentile by event type, and then order by average damage here. So if I use this logic here, I would like to copy entire thing here and then Control Z, which we have used just now. We can reuse that. Okay, and now I would like to add this here to this one itself. So here we can remove this and then use comma. Alright, so we have this percentile 50, 90 and 95, and this has to be by event type, and order by not by max, it has to be by average. I think we don't have an average here, so let's add average here. So this can be average of damage property, and I'd like to remove this also, the millions here. Okay, let's keep this everything and now click on run. Before that, order by average. So now even on this part, the minimum is 0 for wildfire, maximum is this big, and minimum average which is saying as 5 million, and then we have this percentile 50 is 0, percentile 90 is 200,000 and 95 is 5 million. So this is what the result, and you can analyze this and then you can take the decisions out of it. Even though these are the simple functions, but in reality it actually gives much valuable insights to your data. So what is bin? We actually saw about bins in our previous series, right? But still we'll go a step further ahead on this part. So you can use bin with summarize operator to aggregate data based on time intervals. So this is what we usually saw, right? So it can just give us information about the count of events by date every day. So that's what we are using up here, one day. But in this query, so this is what actually it does. But here you can also use another type which is basically showing up here. So this used to calculate the number of storm events occurred by each day, but over a period of time here. So example, if I use the same query here, summarize average damage here, which is on this particular path, and then by bin, which is usually has to be by bin, and this can be start time comma 1 day period, right? So and then by event type. So if I execute this, what it actually does, so by every day and every event type, this is giving us an average damage property here. So if you want to order this one, so you can just specify order by and then AVG and descending order. It is good actually to mention, even though by default it is descending, but it's good to mention it here. So on this part, this is showing up wildfire again, which is showing up an average of this much of damage on this particular day here. But if you are not sorting anything, then this giving me as on a daily basis, on event basis, this is the value on an average. So again, if you are still analyzing the storm event and you want to understand how the frequency and severity of storm varies over time, you can use bin to group the data by days, weeks and month, and then apply aggregation functions to calculate key metrics like average damage, total number of events or percentile here. So this query basically shows how many storm events occurred each month and the total damage caused by these events. It helps to spot trend in storm frequencies and severity over time, which is valuable for understanding seasonal pattern over long-term changes in weather. So you see, this is really an insightful one. So bin is an essential function for time series analysis in KQL, allowing you to group data in regular time intervals. You can use bin to summarize to calculate statistics like count, average, percentile for each time interval. Combining bin with other fields like event type or any other column help you perform more detailed analysis by time and category. This is particularly useful for analyzing datasets like storm events, where understanding how storms vary over time can provide valuable insights into weather patterns and trends here. So let's run this one, summarize event count and count of this one. So here I'd like to add new one, summarize event count. So this has to be count, and then average, which is total damage. This can be sum of total damage property, and then this can be by bin start time, and this has to be 1 day comma order by bin. So we can just specify this also here. If you want to have an event type you can, but for now no need. So if you want to order by this thing, alright, if I click on run, so this is just giving me the date in the descending order, and this is the event code, and this is the total damage that happened over a period of time. That's really amazing.